is a platform that I actually have been part of for a long time now. And basically, my name is Betty Encinales, and I work as a recruiter headhunter for over a decade now. I also have done job search strategies, professional resume writing, and I'm also a career consultant that help other people on their career pivots to navigate their job market when they need it. I'm the founder and the CEO of a company called BigRoot. We operate again in the UK and Switzerland. And the idea that we do is obviously to help people find their jobs and guide them on their career path and to connect companies with talent. So that's what I have been doing for a lot of years, and I'm super passionate about that. And the reason that I became a pro networker is because I have moved to different countries all over my career. I have moved to around 9 different countries for work purposes. And I had to really push myself to network and to connect with other people throughout different events, and now in the last couple of years online. Today, the idea and the intention of my talk is really to leave you with some tools and ideas on how can you navigate the networking tools and practices that you can operate on your professional life or your personal life. You can utilize the things that we're going to share this today on your, if you want to make friends in different countries, or probably especially on your career path, that hopefully I can be able to share today some new ideas and techniques that you can apply on when you're trying to find new opportunities abroad or online or in your local area as well. So basically, what is networking? Networking in the past, I think people used to think that they go to different events and they just go in with a bunch of cards, connect with people and just give the cards, and sometimes they stand behind of the bar without talking to anybody. Because it was very difficult, I think, connecting with people who you have never seen in the past, and going to network events was very challenging as well, because you didn't know also who to connect. Now, with the pandemic, I think it's opening a lot of new doors for us to connect online. There's a lot of people now that have the profile online, their online branding, the LinkedIn profile, the Facebook accounts. And so it's a lot easier for us now to connect online. And the idea of networking now, well, that is very important to recognize, is that we need to intend building relationships, but meaningful relationships, and to create not just friends, but people who we can serve to them, and they also probably can serve to us in the future too. Getting to know people on a deeper level and helping them as well when we can. So that's the purpose of networking. It's not just to bring cards or to send hundreds of emails with no intention whatsoever, but actually to connect with people on a deeper level. And so that has to be with a strategy. And I think one of the things I learned over the years is that when you go without an intention, when you send hundreds of emails without knowing where you're sending, who you send it to, you probably will never get a reply, or you probably can also close those doors. So the idea here is that you learn how to be more intentional on what you're transmitting to the other person, and hopefully getting to know them so you can in the future be able to help them, or they can also help you in your career path. We're going to go to our learning objectives for this webinar today. And so we're going to go through organize your network for a job search. So we're going to see some of the tools on how to organize your network. Make the most of online tools to foster new one-on-one connections. So I'm going to give you some different ideas on how can you connect online with other people around the world, and again, locally, so you can use. And at the end of our webinar, we're going to talk about the practice of the art of storytelling, which is a beautiful art that we should practice a lot more than what we do. And really, that's the only way we can actually connect with other people authentically. Basically, the most important thing to organize your network, when we're going to go through this, can we go to the next slide, please? When we're organizing our network, the first thing to do right now is to update your LinkedIn profile. So please make sure that you upload your photo that is professional, that has a nice background and is not like sexy photo or something like that. Remember that this is going to be professional, so make it look clean on your profile. Make sure that when you write your profile is concise, that shows who you are, the achievements that you have, and also on your history that match your CV. The chances are that people who doesn't know you are going to look up who you are on your LinkedIn, and it's very, very important that your profile shows who you are, what you're doing, and what you're looking for as well. So make sure that before you connect with anybody, you have that LinkedIn profile absolutely sparkling and ready to connect with people that potentially you don't know, and also people that you know as well. You can also ask for recommendations and people who can recommend you. So when people look at your CV, your LinkedIn profile, they can actually see all the people that you have worked with and people who can maybe recommend you, and also the things that you post, your feed. Be also mindful of what you're posting as well. So if you are in a career in recruitment, so articles that you can post, you can comment on other people's feeds and other people's articles, so you can connect with them a lot better. So that's number one. Your LinkedIn profile is super important. Also, if you have your personal branding, very, very important. I think one of the things that companies do a lot these days is look online and to see their profiles of the people that are going to join their company. So all those photos that you have, maybe drinking, being drunk, or maybe doing something that you shouldn't, make sure that you delete those from your social media accounts. Or also, if you have any comments that you have done that you shouldn't be really sharing publicly, make sure that you delete those. And your personal brand is absolutely fantastic. So when people look at it, they have an idea of what type of person you are and what are your values and what are you looking for as well. Who to target, that's how we're going to organize our strategy, let's say. So the way, can we go back again? Sorry. Who do we target? Back to the track. Perfect. Who do we target? We can, first of all, we can track people. Well, we can reach out to people that we know, so friends of friends, or friends of family, or the alumni that we study with, or also ex-colleagues that we share some time at work. And also we can target as well people who we don't know yet. But we're going to go first to the friends of the friends, and how can we actually reach out to them? So the people that we know, make sure that you're kind, that you're respectful. It's very annoying when people who you haven't contacted for many years contact you just to ask you for a favor. So make sure that when you reach out to your, I don't know, alumni, fellow alumni from university, you can first ask them how they are, but secondly, find something in common that, I don't know, maybe a memory from the prom, or some memory that you have that you share, something fun to talk about, and then obviously ask them how they are. And if you're gonna ask for an advice, be as specific of what you're gonna ask. And what by saying that, for example, if you're looking for a job or someone that can help you in your career path that you already know, after you connecting with that memory that you have and that you share, you can maybe say, can you advise me on, for example, economist roles for a consultancy in London? So be specific on what you're looking for, so people doesn't have to guess, and they know that if they cannot know that, maybe they can refer you to another person. So that's another thing that you can do. Always ask for referrals. So if they cannot help you on, for example, telling you that that consultancy exists in London, they know it, they might say, look, I know someone else in that other consultancy. But when people start understanding what you're looking for, it's easy for them to also reach out to you if they hear or they know someone and along the path that you're looking for to connect. So be very specific when you're saying or you ask for help on your network. And when you're trying to connect with people that you don't know, what can you do? So you can start following companies that you really will dream to work for. So follow them maybe on LinkedIn, also on the other social media platforms like Twitter or Instagram. You can also connect with people on the same industry that you are, and you can also connect with people that have the titles that you dream one day to have. So all those jobs that you're thinking, oh my gosh, I would love to have that position, maybe try to connect with them throughout LinkedIn, on a connection that you can actually send to them, or an email that you can send to them, and ask them with a small note, what are you looking for specifically? And you can ask them again for advice, this or that advice, I call it. So what I'm saying by that, it's you can just put two options. For example, if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking to connect with another recruiter, I can ask them, look, Carol, I'm looking for a position in London as a recruiter. Would you advise me to look for a job in-house or with an agency? What do you think, and what are your thoughts on this? And probably Carol will look at your email and think, okay, I can answer this because it doesn't take forever for me to answer to your email. So make sure that the people that don't know you as well know exactly what you're looking for, and it's easy for them to reply. Now, going to track in this, to track your network, and in this table that we have in here, it's very important that we using a formal spreadsheet. It can be like this, like you can have an Excel spreadsheet, very easy to do. And using your spreadsheet can help you to stay organized and improve your ability to stay in touch with contacts, and add this to your routine networking strategy. So you can put the name of the person, or you can use it by your company. And you can also put their email address. If you have the telephone number, amazing if you can put that on as well. The country where they are, and that helps you as well to knowing the time zone where they're based. And most importantly, at the end, you can put the notes. So what you can do is, when you're creating this, you're tracking your network spreadsheet, you can upload this and constantly update it. So if you talk to this person, you can say, that person answered that they just moved to a different job, or they moved just to a different city. That person have a new baby born, so he's been super busy these days. This person was very kind and really connect me with this other connection, a referral. And so make sure that in your spreadsheet, you really track all the information. And especially because when you hopefully find a job that you really like, or you achieve the goal that you're trying to achieve, you can go back to this spreadsheet again and just send an email tailored to what the conversation was. And especially when you're trying to network with a lot of people, you will forget a lot of the information. So make sure that you track all the information on your notes. So when you have to send a thank you note, you know that that person moved to a different city, that that person have a baby, or whatever the story is. And it also shows that you listen, that you care about the other person, and not that you just want to ask for advice or ask for connections. So that's super important. Keep your data organized. Follow up with intention. Make sure that when you follow up, it's not always to ask for advices or for favors. Always, when you have a moment, just ask how is the new job going. And maybe you can also share a lot of. One of the things I love really when you're networking is adding value to others. And what you can do also is sharing articles or sharing podcasts, or a lot of different other sources that the other person might need, that they don't ask for it. But when you come with this approach of giving to the other person and adding value to them, it's more likely that they will be willing to help you as well. So email is the best way to connect with people. Email, professional email, and LinkedIn. I please recommend everybody not to look at the other social media platforms such as Instagram or Snapchat or even Twitter, because people open those just sometimes to connect with their friends, or they have different types of purposes. But LinkedIn is professional, and again, emails for work are professional. So always try to connect with them, and not send them a random Facebook message, which is very annoying when you know the person. And obviously Facebook is for friends, people that you know, so it's definitely not the best method to connect with people that you want to connect on a career level or a professional level. How to reach out really matters. So it's really important that you find those emails. If you cannot find them on the website, that normally a lot of people have their email on the website of the company, or they might have the email as well shown on LinkedIn. If there are BAPs, people that is very public, have a public profile, you can read their posts or their blogs, or you can engage with them on Twitter. And so they're more aware of who you are. And if they're not, at least you're connecting with people that follows the same. And so that's very, very important. Another trick that I can give you to find email addresses is sometimes what you can do is you look at the company's domain. So for example, if a company says carol.rodriguez@santander.com, maybe you can try the name of the person, dot the last name, and the domain of the company.com. But there is a lot of tools that you can find over Google where you can get access to some emails. So look for those. There is one called spread.com and another one called lusna.com, and so you can use those. People underestimate a lot the gatekeepers, and for VAPs, people who had gatekeepers on their work, super important that you create or you try to build a connection, be very kind with the secretary or the PA of someone that might be able to help you reach out to that person that is very difficult to reach out to. So let's go to the next slide, which is the do's and don'ts that we can, So the do's, get to know their career history. Please make sure that when you reach out to people, especially people obviously that you don't know, that you look at the profile on LinkedIn, that you know what they're doing and the industry. And I'm saying that because I get hundreds of emails of people sometimes requesting help on fashion industry, which I don't work. I work in the fintech financial services sector. And when people reach out to me for a designer position in fashion, for me, it says that that person obviously hasn't really done the homework of looking at my profile and knowing that I don't work for that industry. So really make sure that you take the time to do your homework and look at first what they're doing and what industry they work, how long they've been there, if actually that person is the right person to talk to. Get to know their current situation, so what they're up to. Try to understand their interest. A lot of people nowadays online, you can see if they're, I don't know, they're doing marathons, they're doing like a fundraising, and maybe you can help with that. If they're running their last marathon, maybe you can support them on that, and find a way to support them even before reaching out. And again, we can come with a lot of different ideas. You can always share articles, you can share very interesting podcasts, you can invite them to a podcast if you like, and you can just send little things and ask, like you can actually add value to them. I had people who have come to me to give me a referral sometimes, and they said, oh, you should meet this person who's going to help you with this. And I'm thinking, wow, before they ask for help, they giving me some help. And I find that fantastic. And actually, you really, when you connect with these people, you also want to help them too, because you're grateful for what they're doing to you. And the don'ts, don't leave a like trail. Obviously, that's really, really bad. If you look into someone's profile, please don't look like you're stalking them. So like liking everything, or I don't know, commenting things when you don't know. So make sure, and I say that because this happens, so please make sure that you don't do that. And don't reference anything on anything that they have posted long time ago that is something that you shouldn't comment on. Then just be aware of that. And don't spend too much time researching. Sometimes we spend a lot of time trying to get to one person, and that person probably doesn't reply, probably because they're busy or they're not interested, they don't want to maybe connect with you, who knows. But the important part here is that you try it, maybe you try it the second time, but if that person doesn't reply to your request or your connection, probably is not interested, and it's okay not to just take it personally, but just to move to the next one. The next slide, please. So what we want to do here as well is to show how can we write an email that, I mean, I'm going to give you some ideas. Obviously, I don't have all the answers, but it has worked for me and for a lot of people that I know. So what's important on your email is that it's not like full of information, so people cannot spend a lot of time reading it. So it's important to tell, number one, who are you? Number two, why are you reaching out to them specifically? And number three, what do you want? So that's how it should be an email that you send to the person who's gonna obviously trying to maybe know, why that person can help you, why you're contacting them. So again, make sure that you do your homework and you understand that this is the right person to talk to. Can we go to the next slide, please? Subject lines, best practices. Keep it short, please. Who likes to read a super long email? Nobody, especially now that we're very busy. So make sure that you put it very short, concise. Use their first name correctly. I still have people who spell my name really badly, and my name is there on LinkedIn. So I mean, completely, that's definitely something that is attention to detail that you need to make sure that you spell the name correctly. Get to the point. Again, be specific of what you are connecting this person. Be very specific on the purpose of the email. For example, I have 3 examples here. Carol, do you have 20 minutes for a recent grad? Hi, Nick. I love to learn more about your career. And then, can we talk, Andrew? I'm a friend of Josh. If you have people that you have in common, try to mention them, of course, so it's like people know who you're talking about, and it's easier for them to reply. Can we go to the next slide, please? We have in here an example. So the best practices for us to send emails is also to send them on morning hours. And I will set for the recipient between 8 o'clock a.m. to 11 in the morning. And also I would recommend you not to send an email on a Monday or a Friday. I think it's very important that obviously people on the Monday are super busy on their own thing, and Fridays maybe people are too relaxed to just look for the weekend. So make sure the email goes on a Tuesday or a Wednesday. They're very good days, and in the morning for their time zone. Create a personal context. Again, don't send a blast of emails that just change the name. People notice that, and I'm sure you have received a million emails where it's like hi, comma, and then there's a lot of different information that it doesn't even relate to you. So make sure when you send an email, you send a personal context to it, and you talk about, again, how is your new job doing, and then you go and speak to them if you obviously know them or you know anything about them. And also use hyperlinks to your emails if you have. So in any email you can put, I didn't put it here in the example, but it's important if you have a LinkedIn profile that you can maybe put it there. If you have a blog, also maybe put it there. So when the receiver have that email, they can have an idea of what you're doing, and they can check you out as well. So here there is an example of an email that I sent, that I got to read a couple of years ago, that I found it quite easy to do, and it has some things that are quite relevant as well. So the subject: hi Carol, connect with an inspired woman in fintech moving to London. Hi there, Carol. I'm Carla, a former classmate of Elizabeth Klaus, writing to see if you might spare a few moments for a fellow woman in fintech looking to move to London in the summer. I admire the path you've forged at Monzo and would love to be in a position to support you in return down the road. Do you have 15 minutes to connect over Zoom next week, anytime that works for you? Many thanks. So what I like about this example is that it's very to the point, the subject line, the person knows what are you gonna be talking about. And also you tell her where your aim is when you talk to her, but you also admire her in some way or admire the other person in some way. I think everybody likes compliments, and if they're genuine, even much better, of course. So be genuine when you communicate and admire the other, and just write that down. Congratulations on your new job, or congratulations with your new child, or I'm very inspired for your TED talk if you've done a TED talk. And then you're specific on the time that you're looking to ask the other person. 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I really recommend under 30 minutes, because everybody, especially people who you don't know, is very wary of their time. So you have to show respect for the time, and just something shorter is a lot better. Never schedule a call on a 30 minutes plus if you haven't really discussed that before with the person, if they agree with that. Can we go to the next slide, please? When we are setting up a life goal, I mean, the aim for all of us should be not just to keep the conversation on an email. The aim for us should be to get up to know the person, hopefully face to face when that's possible. But in the meantime, we can set up a phone call or a Zoom, and it's a lot like make this as easy as possible for the other person. So make sure that you're really flexible with your propositions when you're trying to meet. So please make it sure that you make it very easy for the other to say, okay, that's fine. Cut down on the email back and forth. So basically, when they agree, you can just set, this is a Google Calendar. When it works for you, we can set up a time. So it's not like 3-4 emails, and that's quite annoying when somebody's busy. So make sure that you put that down short, clear, and the other person just sign up, and just is easy. Ask what methods they prefer. So if they prefer Zoom or Google or Skype, what do they prefer? Provide options and stay flexible. Remember that the other person is the one that we're trying to reach out. So make sure that you put 2 to 3 options on your email, so that person can see, oh, maybe that works for me better, a Monday after lunch, So don't ever put just one option, always put more than 2, but don't put many, but 2 or 3, I think that's a perfect number. Send along your resume in advance if you think that's necessary. Make sure that you send it, and so that person knows that you're going to talk about your career and what you have done, if that's the case, of course. And send a quick reminder in the morning, of course, just to remind them that you have that call later on the same day. And is given, obviously, to send a thank you note for their time to agree to meet you. So always be grateful. Can we go to the next slide, please? Connecting with authenticity. Oh, okay. Yeah, connecting with authenticity. Yes. Well, basically, the most important thing here when we do networking is actually connecting with real people, right? We're not connecting with robots or only with profiles. Behind every profile, there is someone. So the idea is to connect with our own personal story, and that's what it comes. The art of storytelling. Always tell a compelling story, where you can basically connect with your real experience. When we are trying to connect with people, we also have to keep the conversation going on, and I'm going back a little bit. When we're trying to connect with the people, I mean, the first conversation we're having, try always to keep a checkup through time. So for example, last week I've got one of the candidates I helped in their career path, and she actually changed jobs, and I haven't really hear from her in the last 9 years. And she messaged me just to say that she had an amazing job and she just wanted to let me know. And I found that amazing because she not only reached out to me 9 years ago to ask me to help her finding a job, but now she's sharing with me that she has an amazing job, and just to keep in touch and also to know how I'm doing in the after the COVID situation. So I think it's wonderful to just, again, not ask for a favor, but actually keep that connection, keep the conversation going, try to ask them how are they doing, keep, again, those details on your track record. And if, for example, they provide a service, make sure that you also offer in advance to ask them how much that service costs. You know, for example, for people like me who are recruiters, a lot of people ask us to review their CVs, and that's a service we provide, and obviously we charge for that. And imagine if we can, I mean, if everybody asks us to help them looking at their CV, well, we would not have time to work really. So be aware of people's services, what they're doing, and be aware of their time. So when you ask for anything, connection, help, advice, contribution, be aware that those people have their own time and their own agendas. So it's very important that you're very aware, and whatever you ask, be specific. Can we go to the next slide, please? Go above and beyond. I think that that's amazing when we're following up, and I truly think that the people who knows how to follow up really build those strong connections over time. So a quick thank you note, again, it's a must. You always have to, whoever help you on your path on your career, whoever have take time to advise you, to recommend you, please make sure you send that message or that email to say thank you so much for your time. If you want to go an extra mile, you can always send a 5 digital gift card for Starbucks, coffee, I don't know, or maybe you can send that person reads book, maybe an Amazon voucher. I think those are little details that really makes a difference. I have people who have helped send me sometimes flowers or chocolates, and they really stand out, and I'm always happy to help those because I remember what they have done to be grateful to the work that I have done. Keep them posted, again, keep them posted what you're doing, and ask them as well, how can you help them? How can you help them in return? How can I add value to you? That's the biggest mistake. Everybody, when they're trying to network, they always are looking to ask for things before they actually giving to them anything. And so I'm always thinking that the more you give value to others, the more you will receive as well. So make sure you always try to return in your emails, always saying, look, can I also help you with this? Can I help you with, for example, in my job, I can help with looking at resumes. So for example, if somebody helped me, I can offer them to help them on their interview process, or checking up their LinkedIn profile and help them writing them, or, you know, something that you can do with your own talents, you can always offer to help the people who have helped you, and be specific as well with what you're trying to help. Can we go to the next slide, please? Before we're going to talk about, again, to the storytelling that I was saying at the beginning of our presentation. I think, again, trying to connect with people with our genuine challenges and stories is fantastic. Make sure that you're not telling a story that is draining, not like, oh my God, you know, I have terrible problems. You really, when people don't know you, people will get scared by that story. So make sure that when you're trying to connect with other people, you really connect with a genuine story, but where you actually are the hero of your story. And by saying that, just take one of your stories that have been a part of your journey. For example, here for me, being an expat living in 9 different countries has been a challenge, and how I took action to make sure that I integrate with a new culture, and how can I overcome those obstacles and the outcome that I have from that experience. I think when you tell that types of story, when you're looking for jobs and you're trying to connect with other people, everybody who has had the same experience that you have completely understand, and it really makes you bond, because they also have been into the same situation of building a new life, finding new contacts, learning the new language. So I think it's super important that you have a compelling story that you can share with others in order to connect. And again, it should be uplifting. It should be a story that inspire others, and not that people get scared and be like, oh my God, I don't want to disappoint this person, so I cannot really help. Try always to connect genuinely. Sometimes not with everybody you're going to be connecting, because sometimes things don't flow with the other person, and so that's also okay. Make sure that all the connections that you're doing are genuine, the questions that you're doing are genuine, and also try to ask questions to them. Ask them about their challenges. This is always a two-way relationship when you network. One of the things I notice a lot as well is that people start talking a lot about themselves, their experiences, their challenges, but they really forget a lot about asking for the other person and what have been their challenges, what are their passions. And the moment you start listening and be more receptive and listen to their stories, the more you can connect, because the more you can add value. If somebody, for example, is looking to do a new project that you might think you can help, if you listen carefully, you can say, oh, I can introduce you to this, or I can help you with that. So that's the best way, always, not just only to share your personal story, but also to listen to the others and be able to connect, to help as well, if it's possible. And well, this is basically what I really wanted to share, but I also would like to give you a bonus track on this webinar, which are a little few things that you can also do, not only for your career, but what you can actually connect in other types of groups. So there is, you can also be a leader and create your own alumni group if you want to connect with people you haven't reached out for a long time. And you can tell them that you admire them and their career, and that you would like to create this brainstorming group where everybody can participate. That's a way that you can actually connect with people you haven't connected for a long time. You can also join groups such as meetups. There is a called meetup.com, which is amazing because it's in every single country. And also you can share different passions, different activities, for example, cryptocurrency teams or entrepreneur meetups, or people, for example, that is in Switzerland or London. You can actually hang out with them and also find topics that are interested to you and your industry, and you can join them to the conversation. Another thing that you can do is to not only follow the companies and your peers, but create collaborations. So you can create different collaborations on podcasts, writing an article, and when you, for example, have the initiative for creating an article or some sort of blog, you can also ask other people to join in and to maybe share ideas, people from your industry, and create that group where you can share ideas. And a lot of, they're going to post that as well on their social media, and they're going to also spread to a lot of more people. And finally, I also think that another amazing idea that I can share here with you guys is doing pro bono work or voluntary work. And I know for a lot of people, that's something that they say, oh my God, I don't want to give out on free work. However, I really think that in order to connect and uplift the opportunities, like grow them to different people, sometimes it's to take out some time in our agenda to do some mentoring or some workshops or talks, so you can get engaged with people that you probably don't know that will be really interested to meet. So make sure that you have initiative to create things, meetings, podcasts, blogs, invite others, do brainstorming, connect, and also doing some voluntary work sometimes add value. I can only tell you that I have been working with people who came to me and add value without asking. For example, on my TED Talk a few years ago, this guy took some photos and he just said to me, look, I really want to give you those photos. You don't have to pay me anything. And then he became a photographer of a lot of all the other projects I was doing for my company. So everything starts just because he has the initiative to give something, a service to me without for me to ask, and as a necessity, and knowing exactly who I wanted to reach out when I needed that service. So saying that, I just really wanted to say that online networking doesn't mean that is less real. So make sure that when you're connecting with people, you don't dismiss that is a person behind every connection you're doing. So make sure you are kind, you're respectful, and you are accountable for the things you said you're going to do. So make sure that you respect everybody and that you add value to others, so you can also open opportunities, not just by taking, but by giving out as well. And now I would love to hear from you and to answer any of the questions that you might have, any of the comments that you would like to discuss. I'm super happy if Helen, you can help me like on this reading the chat box, and for us to be able to answer some of your questions.
Yes, hi Betty, thank you for the presentation. So we have one question here. If you don't feel a connection with someone at a networking event, how can you respectfully decline a LinkedIn invite or their request for your number, knowing that you will see them again and at another networking event, but not wanting to make it awkward next time you see them?
Well, that's an amazing question. I think that respectfully, you don't have to add everybody who sent you an email or a connection. So you can always reply. Again, when we were sending, when I was showing that email that I was sharing earlier, it's basically telling your reasons why you cannot help. You don't have to lie, but you can just say, thank you so much. It's great to hear from you. And reply like politely, but you don't have to really add them in your LinkedIn connections, for sure. I have received hundreds of connections of people. I have been exactly in those shoes where I don't really want to connect with that person. And I reply to them very politely. You don't have to be rude, but you don't have to accept them on your network. And if you see them in an event, well, and if they come to you and say hello, well, again, you have to be polite. I mean, the importance of network is, again, you don't have to vibe with everybody. And we obviously, as human beings, we don't vibe with everybody we meet in on network events that we go in, or sometimes people is very annoying with their emails. I have hundreds of emails from people that keep on asking me for things, and I don't want to be impolite. I'm very kind, but I just said, look, I'm really sorry, extremely busy, and I won't be able to help you with this. I hope that you find the right person that can help you. And that's it. Like, I don't have to refer to anybody. I don't have to tell them a very long story. I can just be very honest and said that I have other things to do. I cannot help. And if you find a way to maybe guide them to a different direction, do that. So many times people ask me, again, for jobs in fashion or recruiters in something that I don't know. Sometimes I said to them, look, I'm not the right person. However, there is this company or this agency that might be able to help you. And I wish you all the best. And people really appreciate an answer. That's number one. I think we all appreciate an answer. So I think giving an answer, it's important, even if it's a small one. And even if to say, look, I'm really sorry, very busy, I can't reply longer, but best of luck. I think it's important to reply, but also to be clear and to be polite. And if you see them again in an event, well, just, you don't have to hide. You can always be polite and don't enter a long conversation to anybody. But also, I think the fact of replying is so important, because you don't know who at the end can also refer you in the future, who is going to be able to help you in the future. A lot of the people that today might not be relevant for your career or for your life, you don't know in 5 years time if you have to pop into them, or you need a referral, or somebody knows you that know them. So it's very, very important to always, again, being kind, being professional, being polite, being a nice person. Reply to the emails, say hello to people. You don't have to engage to long conversations, but you have to just be a nice person. So that's my advice.
Thank you, Betty. Also, some members here have said very good points. Currently, we don't have more questions, but perhaps you tell to the attendees how can they connect with you when they will have future questions.
Yes, absolutely. I have put my details on our event invitation. So my LinkedIn is there, Betty Encinales. My company again is Recruit. And again, we are a recruitment company. We operate in Switzerland and the UK, not in other countries, unfortunately. But yes, you can always connect with me. And I really, truly hope that in this talk, I have given you a few new ideas to create better connections. And again, just try to always think of the other person and add value to the others before you ask for things. So that's the biggest giveaway that I can really give as an advice to all of you. And thank you, and I really appreciate your time tonight. And I hope that you can take away one or two things that we discussed in this webinar, and you can take them on board to your own career path and your networking strategies.
Thank you, Betty. Have a good evening.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.